Hi, this is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're going to look at the new Teen Titans, issue number 1. This is such a treat for me because I haven't seen this comic in 20 years or so. It's been just tucked away in my storage unit. And now I have access to all my comics. I don't know if you've seen the previous video with my comic book room. I'm so happy the way it came out. But anyway, this is the new Teen Titans. There already was a Teen Titans comic that came out before this. Maybe I'll talk about that and show some of them. But the Teen Titans, these are all the sidekicks of the DC superheroes, and a couple that were invented just for this comic. The writer is Marv Wolfman, and the artist is George Perez. You can see over here the cover is by George Perez and Dick Giordano. Solid inker. All right, I've gone on record as saying that George Perez and John Byrne are the two best superhero comic book artists, bar none. I stand by that statement. The only thing I'll disagree with is on any given day, Perez can be on top or John Byrne can be on top. But today George Perez is on top because I'm looking at this wonderful comic. So who are the Teen Titans? Well, first we have Robin, Dick Grayson Robin, Batman's sidekick. We have Wonder Girl, who was she was invented in the first Teen Titans comic as a sidekick to Wonder Woman. Her story is super confusing. I could spend a whole 40-minute video talking about her origins and her story. This is Raven, fan favorite in the cartoon. I've never seen the cartoons. This is Starfire, Princess Coriandor from the planet Tamarind. This is Kid Flash, Wally West, yes. Barry Allen Flash's sidekick. And this is Garth Logan, I think his name is, Beast Boy, and introducing Cyborg, Victor Stone Cyborg. Let's get into the comic. This is in surprisingly good shape. Issue number 1, 50 cents, the Comic Code Authority. Look at this. This I think is a coloring guide to let the colorist know what to color. They're supposed to be erased. Every once in a while you'll see them. Still in the Raven. Why can't I remember Raven's? See, well, Raven is her real name. I forget her last name. So look at that wonderful splash page. That is just great. All new thrills, all new heroes. Okay, we have Marv Wolfman and George Perez, writer, co-writer, and penciler. Romeo Tangal, finisher. That means the inker. Ben Oda, letterer. Adrian Roy, colors. She's another famous colors. And Len Wein, editor. If you should recognize that name because he wrote my last 2 videos on the Fantastic Four. He was the writer. Let's check out that Lego. I don't know if we've seen that ad before. Oh, let's look. What year did this come out? 1980. I'm glad I didn't say anything because I would have said it was older than that. But I should have known by the 50-cent title. Look at that. I just love that the way Victor Stone, odd pose. Was that like the Pieta, the art? Such a copied. And then later on, Crisis on Infinite Earth, Superman's holding Supergirl, and that pretty much the same pose. The Gordians, that's their name. They're slavers from another planet. So here we have Starfire, Princess Coriandor. She's escaping from the Gordian slavers. She has her people come from the planet Tamarin, and if I remember correctly, they evolved from like cat-like people. So she's like a cattish ancestry, and her people, if I remember correctly, have the racial ability to fly, but only she has her and her sister Blackfire have the ability to shoot bolts, but her sister is a handicap; she can't fly, and her sister, of course, became resentful. So Princess Coriandor. Look at these spaceships. So it starts. The new Teen Titans was a very cool series because they had the princess from another planet. Now let me go back to the cover. They had the princess from another planet, so they covered sci-fi. They had the Batman sidekick, so you could do detective adventures. Then you have Cyborg, who is another sci-fi villain, but like intelligence and everything like that. So you could have like Fantastic Four type adventures, of high technology and everything. Then you have Wonder Girl, who's mythological, so that there was your mythological element, Greek mythology stuff. Then you have Raven, whose father was the devil, or Trigon, a demon. So you could have interdimensional, satanic, demonic stories. And then typical superhero, the Flash. And then Beast Boy, he as he was called here, Changeling. He started out as Beast Boy, then he went to Changeling, then he became Beast Boy again. He is tied to the Doom Patrol, so he is actually a good tie to the past. And I did a Doom Patrol video. So I just love this assembly of team because it covers like all the superhero tropes. You could do everything and it works. And it did. This was just such a great comic. If you want a fun comic, get these Marv Wolfman. George Perez, look at the spaceship designs. If you saw that X-Men: The Death of Phoenix, that was John Byrne, but you could just see like just so good. Classic, space battles. The Gordians, well, this like lizard-like race, and if I remember correctly, they orbited the star Vega, and the Vega has like the luck of having a bunch of habitable planets, and that's where the comic book The Omega Men was set. And the Omega Men was like the sister comic to the new Teen Titans, because Coriander's planet Tamarind and the Gordians planet, and then a couple other planets all revolved around Vega, and there was like a stellar battle going on, and each planet had vastly different cultures. It was pretty cool. So it was a starfaring space Star Wars type comic, all set in one Vegan system. I don't want to say solar system because that's the sun. Vegan system. And here, so that was the introduction for Starfire, and then I think the birth of the Titans. So this is Dick Grayson having dreams of all these people going on. Just you could see how John Byrne and George Perez had that Kirby influence, the way the buildings. This is if I remember correctly, this is the Wayne Foundation building. At this point in Batman history, he was like the CEO of a gigantic foundation, and he had this building with a tree growing. It was a pretty cool design, and that's where Dick Grayson lived, because he wanted to be a little bit more independent from Batman at the time, even though he was full-on sidekick. And George Perez was a big fan of these rectangular, thin boxes, panels. And look at that. That's Raven. She just pops in. Poof. All dark and mysterious. She had these rings. I don't know if these earrings were supposed to be glowing, or if that's just the way they looked, or if they were sparks of light. But the rings were a big deal. And the voyages of the exploration ship Znutnar. I don't know what this is. So here she is. She interrupts Dick Grayson's slumber. And they're talking. And look at that old phone. Wally West had a costume. This is something I always liked. Is George Perez always had showed that the costumes were costumes. They weren't these skin-tight latex outfits. This was you could see the onesie underneath, and then the vest tied up as he's putting it on, the cape. I just thought that was just cool. There's Bruce Wayne with his ascot and his tie. That's how millionaires dress. If you don't dress like that, you're not a millionaire. So he's out on his Robin cycle, following her, and then we come to Donna Troy. That's her name, Donna Troy. Now she had an interesting story. At first she was a Wonder Woman's little sister, then she was Wonder Woman's twin, then she was, I don't know if like from another dimension. They kept reintroducing her to the point where they had a Who is Wonder Girl comic, and they had to explore like all the different origins for her and find out what is the truth, and to tell you the truth, I'm kind of mixed up. But there was a wonderful comic called Who is Donna Troy, and it talks about like who the actual secret identity, what was she, because she doesn't have really memories of, she was like dropped off at an orphanage at a young age, and she doesn't have any memories from from before that. So she just remembers being in an orphanage at a young age. So that was a really great human story where Dick Grayson just uses his detective skills to find out her family and family history, who her biological parents are and everything. See, there it is. That's all she remembers is that there was a fire, and then Wonder Woman saved her from a fire, and then brought her to Amazon Island, Themyscira. So forget what I said about an orphanage. That's another alternate story about her. Here she is during her first appearance, and she was played by Deborah Winger in the Wonder Woman pilot, if I remember correctly, young Deborah Winger. And now she doesn't know who her birth parents are, and I don't know how she got the powers. I guess some of her powers were gifted to her because she's super strong. As you can see, she's lifting up all this rubble, and these two grew up together, like they're almost like brother and sister. Great friends. And then this little green dog shows up. A dog with green skin jumps up, and there it is, Beast Boy. That's his power. As you can see, if you remember that Doom Patrol comic, this is a Doom Patrol costume, the red and the white. That's a little bit modified, but this is an original Doom Patrol costume, and he wore like a green mask. He was dying of some jungle disease, and he was given an experimental injection made from some like cobra venom or something like that, and it turned his skin green, and he could turn into animals, and all the animals always, that's his limitation, animal form, and all the animals are green. Wonderful Doom Patrol silliness. I gotta break out the later Doom Patrols where he's introduced as a kid, and his stepmother is Elastigirl, Rita Farr, Elastigirl. She marries Steve Dalton, who becomes Mento, and they raise him. And then Elastigirl dies, and Steve Dalton really just wants to have nothing to do with him. He just, he has no affection for him. He becomes kind of a jerk, and later on a villain for the New Teen Titans. And there's Wally West comes running in, getting the band back together, because they already were a team. They had a comic that ran for about 7 or 8 years. If you remember, the Bumblebee and Gabriel, the Hornblower, these were all, and Lilith. They were other members of the first team of Teen Titans. So here they are getting together. I've been having these dreams, I told Raven, and then here they go, all with their various abilities and locomotion. I love that he's as fast as the speed of light, but whenever they show him all in motion, he's always, I guess he's gotta slow down. Batman versus the League of Assassins. Judo chop, and give him Twinkies. I already explained that if you want to defeat me, John Longbox, look, my hands are still dirty, then you just give me Twinkies. Fruit pies are not going to work. So this is Vic Stone. This is his first appearance. If you've seen the Justice League movie, I'm trying to move my chair a little closer. Victor Stone, Cyborg, was I didn't see the Justice League movie. I assume the origin is the same, but he was introduced in this very comic. So this is his first appearance. Here he is wearing his tracksuit, doing his stunts, and he's like, this guy's like, wow, you should join the team. He's like, I can't join the team. I hate being half a man, and so he can't join the sports team. He's a cyborg. I always thought the name Cyborg was a little unimaginative, but then again, we're talking about a company whose main superhero is called Superman. Cyborg's a little on the nose, but then again, so is Superman, but we're just used to. So she's talking to Raven. She gets him, like, why, she's an empath, like Deanna Troi from Next Generation. She always knows everybody's emotions. So Cyborg. So here he is. From here down, his legs were destroyed, and then these braces snapped the legs on. His arms were destroyed, half of his face. So his torso and midsection are undamaged. And then I mentioned this concept before. He's another classic Pinocchio. He's, the non-human who wishes he was human and therefore keeps his humanity. So he's him and Ben. I can picture him and Ben Grimm just sitting playing poker, just commiserating over their lack of humanity, and just he was always trying to keep grounded, tries to keep his roots, trying to stay human, he knows how precious it is because they lost. So he's another one of these people who with a gruff exterior but really a heart of gold. He became one of the I think one of the better characters in the new Teen Titans. You know, he just I just have a soft spot for those Pinocchio characters. I didn't see the Justice League movie. I don't know if they did him a good job or not. So here, Raven gets the whole team together. And why are we here? And I love that she has a different word balloon to show that her voice changes when she's like channeling her powers. So she is coming. So she's foretelling the coming of Starfire, and then of course he's always portrayed as a girl chasing hound. You know, is it too late to pray that she's stacked? You haven't changed, girl. You're still the insufferable chauvinist. You better believe it, beautiful, and oink, right back at you. And then you can come home again. This is the letters page, but being this is the first issue, there's no letter, so this is I think written by Marv Wolfman and probably a little bit of George Perez. This is Len's lineup. He was the editor at this point, so these are all the comics that he edits. So he's using this page to push. Tales from Out of the Sky. So this is the CBS Saturday morning cartoon. Remember the cartoons? You wake up early on Saturday mornings and watch cartoons. Popeye, the Drac Pack. The Drac Pack. I remember this cartoon. Tarzan and the Lone Ranger. Tom and Jerry. Bugs Bunny Roadrunner. Fat Albert. I wonder why that's not on TV anymore. Anybody know why Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids aren't on TV anymore? 30 minutes in the news, because little kids want the news. And here we have another splash page. You know, there's no rule that says that only has to be one splash page. You know, this is another chapter 2, so it works that there's a whole other splash page. And here they are fighting the Gordians. I didn't finish my thought on the Gordians. They are a reptilian race that goes throughout the Vegan system, and they grab people and they enslave them. So they're not the good guys at all. Not, you know, and they definitely wanted Coriander and why can't I remember Coriander's sister's name? But Starfire and Blackfire, because they were the two heirs to the throne to the Tamaran world. So they were some high value slaves. So here they are. I like these winged suits that they're wearing. I guess just charged. Just this poor civilian over here just gets zapped. The guy was just, what was he doing? Just standing there. So here's Kid Flash. Just running. People say that this is one of the best superhero costumes of all time. It's just very simple design. It's kind of cool. He has brown hair, but his hair was turned to red over time. Cyborg. They're just fighting. He's got this. Okay, Kid Flash. He's got the Flash power, super speed. I don't think at this point he has like the he could make those vibrational blasts like the Flash can, but super speed is pretty good, and he's been working out his whole life, so he's an excellent hand-to-hand fighter at super speed. Cyborg has the standard array of powers, the super strength, super endurance. He also has like scanning abilities, and then you see these pouches? They have like different modules that he could plug in to his fingers and arms and give him ability. Most notably is the white sound projector, so it's like a sonic weapon. He also limited invulnerability. This vest is like some sort of metallic suit. So here he is. I think this suit is necessary because I don't think his spine is cybernetic. So, you know, when he tries to lift up stuff, he needs this vest to support his spine. Otherwise, he gets damaged. She has those standard array of powers: flight, super strength, super invulnerability, super speed. You know, she's Wonder Woman Jr. Later on, she becomes the equal of Wonder Woman, but at this point, she's Wonder Woman Jr. She even has the golden lasso. And we all know what Robin could do. He becomes the leader of the team, master strategist. You know, and I always love that when the person with the basically the least powerful becomes the team leader. I mean, as much as we all like Captain America, you know, he's the least powerful of the Avengers. But it's his fighting skills and charisma that are his main abilities. So here we are, fighting. Everybody's just going at it. Wally West, Kid Flash flying around. Some teamwork action, throwing him around. Oh, where's Beast Boy? Oh yeah, he's a snake. We won, but how? And I don't think they ever explained how the costumes work. Like, Marvel has the unstable molecules. I think DC just has the costumes work. That's enough. There's Raven. She could release her astral form, and her astral form at this point is like a black raven. Later on, after she cleanses herself of the evil of her father, she transforms into white, and her astral form is like a white angelic, like a dove. So there they are. Oh, is this the UN? The Secretariat building. So there they are. The Teen Titans are also based in New York. So as you know, this is one of the first DC comics to be grounded into a real city. So here they rescued her, and she's all beat up, suffering from hallucinations, and she's speaking Tamarind, her planet's language. And I think, yeah, this is just some couple that found her, and are taking her back, taking care of her. You know, she's just sweating, and then what's that to the skylight? I try to translate that, but my tamarind is not up to speed. Richie Rich, father knows best. There's a fan theory that Casper the Friendly Ghost is a dead Richie Rich. I just think it's... Oh, Richie Rich is selling grit, so that's how he made his money. For all we know, you could have become a billionaire selling grit. I just ignored all these ads as a kid. So maybe I could have been a wealthy John if I sold grit. So here's she teleports in. Look at that. She always seems to throw her arms up and the cape billows. It's just a great visual effect. Did she do that in the cartoon? And I know in the cartoon she's like portrayed as a like a Wednesday Addams, like, what's her name from Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice. So I don't know, but here she's a kind of a downer. And later on she's looks like a typical white girl, but then later on they kind of make her look like Indian, darken her skin. She's of course afraid of everything, and then she sees the Gordians come in, and then great George Perez, crack, fighting. His power is terrible. Not even I can fight him. She's another Raven. Never really... I read these comics for 20 years, and you still don't know what Raven could do. She could release your soul form. She could feel your emotions. She could project emotions. But then all of a sudden, she could do what the plot requires. So poor Coriandar's all beat up. Wally West ain't hearing it. He goes in. I don't know how anybody could beat a Flash. And whirling around. I guess he opens up a portal. They get sucked in. That's pretty powerful for just stormtroopers. They get sucked into the portal, and Wonder Girl saves them. He just hangs back. What's he going to do in the face of cosmic powers? And they pull through the portal, and it collapses the portal. Hey, you creeps busted up this place. What are you going to do? Well, you'll be compensated, friend. Now kindly take your hand off me. You're the one who brought that girl here, Grant. It's their fault. Grant Wilson feels his rage build, a rage that will not quickly abate. Grant Wilson. Oh, okay. I never caught this the first time I read it. But this is Deathstroke the Terminator's son. He becomes the Ravager. Oh, okay. Setting up subplots right at the beginning. I didn't catch that. I'm glad I checked this out. So, the Gordians have her. They're the energy dampener, because you can't have a slave that could shoot power blasts. Cool. Look at that. It kind of looks like an Aztec samurai lizard guy. And then they don't like... They're so nasty, they just melt each other's faces. Do you realize... So this is the Gordian slavers. And here comes Here comes Titan teleporting in. That's another of her powers, teleporting. And I guess she brought in everybody else. She could like teleport through dimensions. Blast, she's gone. She always vanishes just before a fight. She's doing her job, Robin. Why did you do yours and quit complaining? You know, they were typical team bickering, running off. Action shot. Wally West throwing some punches. Wonder Girl. I mean, they really are a powerhouse team. Just think they're the Justice League. That's Wonder Woman, the Flash. Think of Robin as Batman. You know, Cyborg is, I don't want to say Superman, but like, they're pretty tough team. And she just, you know, the mysterious, unexplainable powers. Vic Stone, he was a jock. His grandparents, no, his parents were scientists. And he was brilliant, but he wanted to be a football track star or something like that. And it was like the opposite, you know, the nerdy scientific parents wanted their kids to be scientists, and he displayed aptitude in the sciences, but he wanted to be a jock, you know. I guess, what is that, reversing the expectations. And then so he came to see his parents when the experiment exploded and damaged his body, so he can't fairly compete. See, here's one of those attachments that he puts onto his arms are completely mechanical from like the elbow on down, so he just reconfigures a couple of mechanisms, and he R2D2's this. And she hasn't really done anything. She's talking nonsense. Her powers are, like I said, she could fly, she could do power blast. She's a little bit more physically stronger than the average human, but I wouldn't say like throwing cars around, but she could definitely like pick up a human and toss them. So she's physically stronger than Robin. And here he is, Beast Boy, or Changeling as he's known here, turns into a baboon and fights. He's just the ultimate hand-to-hand fighter. He's too busy R2D2 and all of this stuff, and grabs Corian. They have a romance that lasts like 100 issues or so. I think they even eventually get married at one point. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they do get married. But I think that was too weird for DC to have Robin marry a space princess, so they probably got divorced, but I don't know. So she's still out cold. The machine's configured. There he is. He needs to splice a wire, so he turns into a hamster. He's talking him through it. The wire spliced. Oh, okay, that was Cyborg. I thought that was Nightwing for a second. I was like, what the? This I like. He spins his hands around and makes these like tornadoes and propels, you know, rises up above that. So here's Wonder Girl carrying. She's too dazed and confused to fly. And there they go. I think they sabotage the Gordian ship, and they leave. Here's the Gordian slave master. Contemplating everything, and she's just like, all right, great, we will be needed for what? Because you are not assembled simply for this mission. Indeed, now the menace is growing, which only one of your powers which only your powers can overcome. So Raven assembled a team because her father is Trigon. I mentioned that before. He's basically Satan, and she's happy to not understand what's going on. So she's assembling this team because Trigon is coming, and she gets all these people together to fight her father. And that's a recurring theme. He gets powerful enough and keeps coming back. And then there's, you know, she's the devil's daughter, so at one point she turns and joins Trigon, but is it a bluff? Is it whatever? So she's constantly battling her inner demons, quite literally. And then I forgot about that. Is Grant. We all know Deathstroke, the Terminator, Slade from the cartoons. This is his son. He becomes the Ravager. And then later on, Slade's daughter becomes the Ravager. And then she turns good and joins the Teen Titans. So there you go. This is the new Teen Titans. 1980. I bought this in a back issue store because I paid $16 for it, I remember. And I was like, oh no, that's a lot of money. So I got to look up how much this is for. But yep, This is in really good condition. Got a nice stiff backing board for it. And it's going to go back into the box, into my comic book room. I'm so happy that I can actually say I have a comic book room. So I hope you like this. Teen Titans, this, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Great run. Great run. Marv Wolfman wrote this for well over 100 issues. It started out on this newsprint paper, and then they transferred over to a Baxter paper. Baxter paper is a higher quality paper, more expensive, and it went to the direct market, and they took the Comics Code Authority off it because it didn't go on newsstands. So they went a little bit more mature, but you know, it's not like they cursed and had nudity or anything like that. They just you know, intellectualized it, I guess is a better word. But I didn't think they needed to intellectual. This is just a wonderful comic. This and the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, I'm sure these are just great, solid comics. If you don't want to, because I bet you this is expensive. I haven't even looked up the price of this, but I'm sure they collect the trade paperbacks. Just start from issue 1. It's phenomenal. Great comic books. I will compare this comic book is the X-Men for DC. So at Marvel, you got the X-Men going full swing, causing a phenomenon, and then in DC, this was super big. This was DC's 80. This was the hit for the 80s. You talking 80s DC comics, you were talking the Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans. They eventually become just the Teen Titans, and then eventually the Titans. Then they go back to the new Teen Titans. Later on, they kind of fumbled around a bit, but I think they went up to like 58 issues of the newsprint, and then they went to over 100 issues of the Baxter titles. But it starts here, just phenomenal. Can't go wrong. So this is, I think, the second series. So this is volume 2 of the new Teen Titans. There you go. Well, the first one with the Teen Titans, then it's the new Teen Titans. It's kind of confusing, but you got the cover right here. So get this. If you like comics and you don't have this, get it. Get the trades. You cannot go wrong. Highest seal of approval. Again, I only showcase comics that I like. So if you see me talking about a comic, or at least up until this point, it's been comics I like. I keep threatening that I'm going to pull out a couple of comics that I don't like and explain why I don't like them. Now that I have my comics in order, I have that luxury. Up until today, I was just whatever comics I was fumbling upon. That's what I was showcasing. But now I could go after any comics. So you got requests, and I think tomorrow I might do something comic book adjacent. It's Marvel, but it's not a comic book. Okay? All right? Good talking to you. Gee, I want a half hour on this. I could probably go another half hour. There you go. That's the Teen Titans. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.